people, well, Twitter Files just came out about how this whole Russian thing got started from people. And I'll name names. This is by Matt Tabai, if I'm saying his name right. He's done this before. And it's about a scam called Hamilton 68, and then there's some prominent people involved in it. So Hamilton 68 advertised themselves as a tool to track Russian disinformation. They have this thing called the dashboard that follows so-called Russian bots. It only named legitimate Republicans, of course, and Republican-leaning accounts, I should say, as being Russian bots. Source of hundreds, if not thousands, of mainstream print and TV stories during the Trump years were generated by all this information coming out about Russian bots on Twitter. The dashboard was headed by former FBI counterintelligence official and current MSNBC contributor Clint Watts. It's W-A-T-T-S, of course. And then MSNBCs that were all crooked FBI, CIA agents go to die. It was funded by a neoliberal think tank called the Alliance for Securing Democracy, or ASD from now on. The ASD Advisory Council includes neoconservative writer Bill Kristol. Neoconservative? I don't get that part. Former ambassador to Russia, Michael McFaul. John Podesta. Of course, John Podesta. That doesn't surprise me, at least I haven't heard of the other guys. Heads and former heads of CIA, NSA, Department of Homeland Security, Mike Chertoff, that was his name, C-H-E-R-T-O-F-F, from 2005 to 2008. And the Department of Homeland Security is behind this too. Claimed Russian bots were amplifying their word, social media causes. Example, strikes against Syrian Fox host Laura Ingraham. Now, why Laura Ingraham? WAPO had a headline saying Russian linked accounts are tweeting reports of Fox News host Laura Ingraham. Struggling? So they were, what this means is that they accused these people of amplifying social media causes and amplifying, Russian misinformation. They also said that these Russian bots were amplifying the campaign of Donald Trump and surprisingly Bernie Sanders. I wonder what's with Bernie Sanders. What's behind that? Because he had a big base. He's definitely more intelligent than our president. Now I realize that maybe intelligent shouldn't be the word. Because obviously he's in decline because of age. I'm not a doctor, I'm not going to say what it is, but it's pretty obvious. It's all out there if you look for it. And, I guess because Laura Ingraham was a conservative and she's a good speaker and she's host on Fox News, very popular, they were saying that the Russian bots were amplifying her too. So Hamilton 68, the source for stories claiming Russian bots, pushed terms like deep state. So the term DS that we use sometimes was being pushed by Russian bots. Any other terms they didn't like, that you had to do silly things like like initials and stuff like that. I hope I don't get a strike for this, but I'm on Zoom. So look for me on Zoom. Even hashtags they used. They said Russian bots were amplifying hashtags such as Fire Master, Schumer shutdown, the Walk Away campaign with Brandon Straka, who he was arrested, was it 2 years ago? Spent a year in house arrest, and yeah, for he was a former Democrat, very popular, former actor, a musician. He's very handsome. He's gay, openly says he's gay. He's got no shame about it. But he was very, very popular in doing the walk away movement. And it was growing. I joined it. And it was basically walk away from the Democratic Party. So they were trying to say Russian bots were behind the hashtag walk away because it was becoming so popular to people. Another hashtag they used, they said, was Russian bots was release the memo. I'm not sure what that means. And Parkland shooting, and there were many, many, many others that they said. On December 11th, 2017, Mother Jones reported that Russian propagandists pushing for Ray Moore to win said Kremlin-linked trolls have joined Trump and Fox News in targeting the FBI. Well, the FBI needs investigating. So does the CIA. So does Homeland Security. And they linked, without evidence, 600 Twitter accounts to Russian influence at their launch site. Hamilton 68 never released the list claiming Russians will just shut the accounts down, shut those bot accounts down. So why should we release the names? Rosenberger spent years in the Obama White House. Okay. That's the guy who said that Russians will just shut the accounts down. Of course, the Obama White House. Twitter execs were able to reverse engineer the list of 600 accounts from Hamilton 68's requests for info. So they wanted to find out who these people were. Hamilton 68 never wanted to release them because they knew it was all phoniness. And they're just throwing out accusations without any evidence. And that was brilliant on Twitter exec's part. I really admire that. Found these accounts were not strongly Russian or even strongly bots. No evidence that the dashboard is a finger on the pulse of Russian information ops. So there's no evidence that the dashboard, these people even have their finger on the pulse of Russian information. So they just made it up. It was just an arm of political rivalry, Obama and the Democratic Party to shut down, smear Republican people. They found that this hardly illuminated a massive influence operation by Russia, because they found that apart from a few Russian Today accounts, it's mostly American, Canadian, and British accounts. But it was a scam. Twitter realized that they could be implicated in the scam. So they had a lot of meetings on this subject. Bill Roth wanted a confrontation, either release the list or we will. So he was an executive in Twitter. You'll Y-O-E-L, Roth, R-O-T-H. However, some were very concerned that taking on the politically connected agency called the Alliance for Securing Democracy, very powerful agency. Even though they felt that the dashboard was actively promoting polarization, distrust through its shoddy methodology. So they really didn't like these guys. And they saw that it was creating polarization between Democrats and Republicans. You know, there was a lot of Democrats believing that the Republicans were, you know, Russian backed, and it was all misinformation, disinformation, all lies. Yes, that is very polarizing. And look what happened to our country because of that. I have members of my family that won't speak to me. My best friend from high school, we just don't talk politics. That's all. We just can't agree. And they were actively doing that on purpose. So Emily Horn, you know, voiced in one of their meetings that she was worried about pushing back on ASD publicly. So they didn't push on ASD publicly, who was backing, you know, backing Hamilton 68. They tried to talk to reporters privately though, but it was like talking to a void. They even called Tulsi Gabbard a Russian asset and drummed up support for Biden by painting critics as Russian assets. Well, we're not surprised. Mother Jones had another article titled, "Trump supporters spread the majority of phony news on social media." Snopes and Politici even reported that it was misinformation. Did I say that right? PolitiFact. Well, we use Snopes. I know a lot of people that use Snopes for checking the accuracy of news, but they're not accurate. They are, you know, they are an arm of the Democrats, sadly. Twitter didn't call out Hamilton 68 publicly. I already said that. So anyone that went opposing the official narrative was influenced by Russia. Now we all suspected that, you know, we just haven't. This is the proof that's coming out that Elon Musk, when he bought Twitter, is finally releasing this information. But we all had like a funny feeling, like something's wrong. It's like nefarious things going on and just an evil, like, veil over these things. Like, I sensed it. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. I don't know. You know, I'm not high production or anything like that, but hopefully I got out fast enough that somebody would be curious and look. Anyway, God bless you guys. Hang in there for the good fight. Pray to God. Please wake up if you haven't already. There's a lot. You're going to be shocked. Some of you, you know, will have a hard time with the information that I'm trying to put out there. And a lot of other people too. There's a lot of good ones out there.